Welcome back to our walk through the tarot. This is card 15, the Devil. The Fool has stepped onto the final row of cards and they'll take him on a journey through the hidden layers of his subconscious self. It's time to delve deeper. In the previous video, the Fool met the Temperance Angel and learned about integration and balance. Temperance represented the results of all his hard work and he'd felt restored and confident. But the Devil, with its chains of temptation and desire, will be another challenging experience. We're going to look at the background to this card, examine its symbols and see what messages it has for the Fool as he begins the final part of his journey. In medieval Europe, the Devil and his demons were believed to be responsible for disasters and afflictions. The 7 deadly sins, including pride, greed and anger, were seen as being the root of all evil and the Catholic population always at risk of eternal damnation. In the Bible, the Devil is known as Satan or Lucifer, a fallen angel. The serpent who tempted Eve in the Garden of Eden is thought to represent the Devil, while the Book of Revelation describes the Archangel Michael fighting the Devil in the form of a dragon, so snakes and dragons became synonymous with evil. Early commissioned decks like the Charles VI and the Visconti Sforza didn't include a Devil card. The images we see today, half human, half beast, with splayed feet, wings, horns and pitchfork, are reproductions which imagine how the card might have looked. However, mass-produced tarots from this time, like the Budapest, Rothschild and Rosenwald decks, did include a Devil card. One consumed people, another had a face in its abdomen to represent greed and desire. As tarot arrived in France in the 17th century, the pitchfork was transformed to a downward pointing torch. 2 figures were tied to the Devil, their sins reinforced by horns or antlers which showed their animalistic and instinctual passions. The Mitelli tarot includes the flames of hell with a serpent beneath the Devil's feet. Snakes also appear in the Minchiate tarot and the Della Rocca deck, while one version of the Minchiate shows Adam and Eve being expelled from the garden. In the 18th century, tarot was adopted by the French occultists. Antoine Comte de Gebelin believed the cards originated in ancient Egypt. He interpreted the Devil as Set, an Egyptian god who represented darkness and evil. De Gebelin called the card an allegory for human folly and ignorance. A century later, Eliphas Levi linked the Devil to Baphomet, an invention from the 14th century when the Order of the Knights Templar was accused of heresy and believed to worship a demon who was half goat and half human, with horns, cloven hooves and a goatish face. Levi's Devil had arms pointing up and down like the magician, suggesting the Hermetic principle of as above, so below, but meant as a parody or inversion. The wings are black for darkness or fallen angels, and Levi included an inverted pentagram. Oswald Worth also used the image of Baphomet for his Devil card. On each arm he added the Latin words solve for dissolve and coagula, meaning to bind or solidify, to represent alchemical processes. Worth's Devil wears the astrological sign for Mercury, a symbol of androgyny, and it shows a blend of masculine and feminine energy. In the 20th century, the Waite Coleman Smith Devil was shown crouched on a small pedestal, which Waite described as an altar, emphasising material desires being worshipped. The human figures wear horns to show that they're becoming like the Devil, whose right hand is in the reverse position of a priestly gesture, a sign of mockery. Waite's Devil is crowned with an inverted pentagram, and his card had transformed the Devil from an external demon to an internal one, highlighting individual obsession that caused personal harm. It emphasised psychological bondage, addiction, and the repressed, unacknowledged parts of the personality hidden deep within the subconscious self. So let's take a closer look at the symbols on the Waite Coleman Smith version of the card. This Devil has the wings of a bat and claws for feet. The people resemble Adam and Eve in the Lovers card. The woman's tale ends with fruit from the tree of knowledge, while the man's tale looks like the flames on the tree of life. They appear chained to the devil's altar, but the chains hang loosely around their necks, because this is the card of illusion. The chains symbolise bondage that's self-imposed. They could remove them and walk away, but have chosen to remain trapped within webs of their own making. Their goat horns and tails indicate inner animal natures and the need for instant gratification. When a pentacle is upright, it stands for control over the elements, but this one is reversed, so it shows the rule of carnal or ego-driven desire over any potential for spiritual growth. The inversion also symbolises material desire and base instincts taking priority. The archetype represents darkness and shows how craving pleasure can transform into self-harm and violence. The stance with one arm pointing up and the other down mimics the magician card, where he drew power from above, making himself a conduit through which creative energy could flow and become grounded. But this is now a reversal. Instead of a wand in the right hand, the torch in the devil's left hand points to the earth. It's a symbol for the misuse of inner knowledge, leading to destruction in darkness. There's nowhere for the energy to flow, so it remains trapped within the physical world. The glyph for the planet Saturn is inscribed on the devil's right palm. Saturn is the planet of Capricorn, an astrological house represented by a goat, or, more correctly, a sea-goat. Known to the ancient Greeks as Amalthea, she had the body of a goat and the tail of a fish, symbolising maternal care and emotional nurture. Amalthea looked after baby Zeus, hiding him from his father Cronus, so symbolised divine protection, but the devil reverses this. Her emotional energy has become skewed towards satisfaction in the moment. The symbolism of the devil speaks of sin and deception, so let's take a closer look at its messages. This is the card of chaos and belief in a false reality. As the personification of temptation, the devil embodies inner turmoil, repressed desires, rebellion against authority, and destructive impulses such as rage, greed, and cruelty. To feel desire is to witness control by the ego, and the fool realises how quashing the ego in the death card was not enough. As well as unconscious drivers of physical desire, there are deeper subconscious layers containing the repression of traumatic events and experiences. It's time for the fool to understand how everything that happens leaves scars and often results in surface behaviours that are ultimately self-destructive, but because they give temporary relief, they can easily become habits. The fool may feel he has little choice when he reaches for his preferred methods of comfort, but by uncovering the source of his desires, he can free himself from their hold. The chains are not permanent. It's time to see the illusion of entrapment. The card can also represent group anger, leading to the roar of the crowd turning ugly. Like attracts like, regardless of source. There's power in numbers, and this is the card of social unrest, disorder and blame. The sea-goat, Amalthea, can become the scapegoat, allowing individuals to project their own negative thoughts and feelings onto external figures, while those already enslaved may encourage others to follow their lead. So the devil represents both victim and perpetrator. The fool needs to be aware that the devil can take on many disguises. It's been a difficult lesson, one that's hard to achieve and manage alone, but there's another 6 archetypes on this final row. And the next card the fool will meet is the Tower struck by lightning, which represents upheaval and destruction. So, join us for the next step on a walk through the tarot.